So, hi everyone, I'm Laurent from Gnosis Pay, and we're gonna talk a bit about what you can build today on Gnosis Pay during this hackathon. So first of all, what is Gnosis Pay? Gnosis Pay is a Visa debit card, self-custodial, on-chain, which works with stablecoins. And but actually, in a nutshell, what it really is just a safe that is linked to a Visa card. However, our safe setup has a bit of a caveat. It doesn't work. It won't work anymore with your safe web app, and that is because we have some constraints when we want to off-ramp the tokens to the Visa network. And we're going to show you how you can actually still keep interacting with your safe using the tools that we have available. I think Ben will demo this.
Right, so I'm going to do a small demo, and the demo is basically about how you can keep using a Gnosis Pay safe the same way that you were using a normal safe. And there's going to be two parts to it. First, setting up a safe that works like a Gnosis Pay safe, and the second part is going to be how to interact with that special safe. So I'm going to get started. I'm going to start with creating a safe. Just going to name it. Next, so there's nothing special to do here. Click on create. This is just exactly like you would create any other safe. We're on Gnosis Chain because that's where we do Gnosis Pay transactions. And now we're going to need to wait for the transaction. And what I'm going to show you next is how you can set up a specific module, which we call the delay module, to set it up with Gnosis Safe and simulate the same safe setup as Gnosis Pay. So I'm going to go in Apps, Zodiac, click on it, wait a bit, click on Delay Modifier. I'm going to input 10 minutes and 10 seconds here and 10 minutes here. Why specifically those values is not really important right now, but if you want to know more, you can come talk to us later. And this is all, we also have recording of this somewhere, so you can rewatch this. We have like a repo with examples and like videos where we explain the same things. So I'm gonna add this module. And wait again for the transaction. And this is a kind of a two-step process. So right now we're configuring the delay module, but right after I'm going to need to enable it. So there's going to be one more transaction to make this Gnosis Pay safe. Right, this is done. And now we're at the last step of the setup. You can create on the right contract, select enable module, and I need to select, what was it, the address of?
The address that will interact with the delay module. So you can actually copy it from here.
Right, so the address of the EOA you use to create the module. And then you need to click on bundle transaction, and then you submit the transaction. Again, execute. If during the process you need any XDAI, you can always come and ask us. Last transaction that will set up the safe and make it complete so that you can start interacting with it as if it were a Gnosis Pay safe. Loading, all right.
Fund the safe.
Oh yeah, funding the safe.
It's like a card without the card.
Yeah, it's like setting up the infra so that you can like do the same as what we actually do in the background when we set up a card. That's right. Okay, transaction was successful. And right now, I'm just going to demo how to interact with it. And to do that, I'm going to demo how to do a ERC20 transfer. So, and this can be applied then to whatever transactions you can think of. So Laurent is sending me some ERC20. And I built this little demo app. And there's also, again, a repo that you can that I will share after. And this repo allows you, is a small demo on how you can make an ERC20 transfer. So the way it works is you input your safe address. Remove the GNO. I did this mistake 3 times today. And this will get the address of the module that we just deployed right now. And you can find this here in the code. It is here. So in this code, there is a function called getDelayModule that takes in the address of the safe. And you can just like copy paste. Where is it? Yeah, you can just copy paste this in your code and also retrieve the delay module address. Right, so we got the module address. Now the next thing we want to do is execute the transaction. And actually we need to execute 2 transactions. I'm just going to fire this and I'm going to explain like what's happening under the hood. So this is the first transaction. I'm not going to validate it right now because I just really want to explain quickly what is happening. So the first transaction is a transaction against the delay module. This delay module requires to be called 2 times, and we also need to a little bit wait in between those calls. So the first call is a simple, you just point to the delay module address that we retrieved right before. We, bigger? You use the delay mod ABI, which is also as part of the demo example, and you call exec transaction from module with values of the address that you really want to interact with. So in our case, a specific ERC20 address, we hard-coded EURO-E, Monerium. 0, you don't need to think about this right now, 0 here, and the unsigned TX data that you pass through. So that's what just happened right now. That's the first call that we just saw right now. Now we'll confirm transaction, and we will need to wait because you actually need to wait a certain amount of time between 2 transactions that you can do to the delay module. And that's where a bit the complexity of this is lying. And it's going to take about 40 seconds. I kind of hard-coded it here. But the real Gnosis Pay delay module works on a 3-minute delay. So in the real-world application, you often need to store this in a DB, keep track of it, and then execute it at a later time. Right, let's go back here. And queue is empty. Oh, okay, so it didn't take enough time. Will it work if I just do it like this?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
All right.
Can't you just wait for the transaction to be executed with an async function?
I mean, it's not just about the transaction being executed, it's about the delay module having waited enough time so that you can re-trigger it again.
So how you would actually have to do it is you first execute a transaction to queue the transaction that you actually want to execute. And then once that has settled, then you wait X amount of time. And I think that's where you were getting at, right?
So if I execute it before time, I get a null value or empty, or what do I get if I execute it?
It will just be reverted because there is no transaction in the queue.
No, but what will be the response of the value?
Of what value?
From the transaction? I'm guessing that after it's executed executed, you get a TX? Or?
Yeah, so you get
Yeah.
2 TX. So conceptually, you can think as the first transaction is putting something in the delay mod, and the second is like actually the delay mod, like making the transaction against the safe. And you can see this being executed here, then delayed, and then it's at this moment in time that things will be really executed on chain, on the safe. So in this case, it means that we were able to get some URE out.
Yeah.
No, but my question is
Yeah.
if you call it before it gets executed, what will be the response?
I mean, it's just like a TX hash, right? I mean, it will be.
No, if it doesn't have a
If it doesn't have a TX hash, it will be just null value for the response.
What transaction are you talking about? The one that queues the transaction?
No, the one that queues.
Yeah. Yeah, you would just have to wait until you actually have a transaction receipt, and then you start the countdown, which in this case is 10 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But we've hard-coded 40 seconds, but the internet was still too slow.
I think that's basically it, right? For the demo part.
Yeah, so you've seen kind of like how you actually interact with a Gnosis Pay account. This is the only way that you, as your owner of your safe of a Gnosis Pay account, can interact with it. We need to have that delay because we need to make sure that we can settle the Visa transaction before the user can take funds out. So we thought about some bounties and like the problems that we have with this account structure. And one of them is basically allow people, again, to use their safe through the delay module with regular dApps. So one of them could be creating a dashboard that kind of looks like the safe app and that really allows you to interact with CowSwap or any other DeFi protocols. So it would incur like queuing the transaction and then executing it.
So
and then, yeah.
Can I ask a maybe contextual question?
Sure.
So the safe with the delay module represents a card account.
Yes.
And my understanding is that so far in real life that can be used to pay something with, like if you have a UK account, you need GBP stablecoin in there. And if you have a Euro account, you have a Euro stable. So why would anybody want to use that same account to do other stuff? Like if they want to do DeFi degen stuff, why don't they use like the other safe account kind of?
Because we really play, we are a self-custodial card, and we think it's really important that you can use your account for the stuff that you're used to on chain. And we started out with just 2 stablecoins, depending on your location, Euro E or GBPE, but we are planning to expand to other tokens. And for that, you need tooling. You need the safe to be usable. That's the reasoning behind it. And that brings me to the next bounty, actually, or like the other ideas that we had, and that is allow people to use yield-bearing tokens with your safe. And one of the ideas we had, which is something that you can execute on today if you have a Gnosis Pay card, even if you don't, and that is you have yield-bearing tokens somewhere else, let's say in another safe, and you keep an eye on your Gnosis Pay safe, and as soon as that drops below a certain stablecoin balance, you do a swap of the yield-bearing token and you update your card. And that way you can basically keep your tokens at work until the very last moment that you're going to buy your coffee. Yeah. That was kind of like the bounties that we had, so I guess we're going to like open up for questions. Also wanted to tell you that we're hiring developers. If anybody has any questions.
How much you pay?
We can talk afterwards.
I'm going to ask a newbie question, okay? So you just gave this example of basically making sure that there's enough balance there, but kind of the practical issue is then like what is enough, right? So let's say you put
That's
100
true.
euros and
That's
then you
true.
go to store and you see something you like for 120 euros, then you're kind of screwed. So what is stopping you from having a more clever way that kind of goes, oops, I need 120 euros. Let's see if there's some other token there.
The ultimate use case would be that you can actually spend yield-bearing tokens. That would be amazing. And you can work on this. It's just that it will require a bit of work on our side as well. So the bounty or the example that we gave, we're going to also look at other bounties, of course, but the example that we gave is the one that is actionable today. However, feel free to work on something where we can spend yield-bearing tokens. And our constraint on our side is that we need to be able to tell Visa, yes, approve the coffee purchase within 2 seconds, and we need to be able to have an assurance of 2 minutes so that we can get X amount of euro, which we approve to Visa, and settle that with Visa. So that's kind of like our constraint. So you need kind of like a quote from a DEX, which is valid for 2 minutes. Yeah.
I don't want to monopolize here, but I think, if you're, it's sort of a risk management thing, right?
Yes. Yeah, it is. It is.
So just to summarize the product, so basically it's an off-ramp, a useful off-ramp.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we would convert our ETH to your stablecoin on whatever, Sushi Swap.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just,
It's a crypto card like you have from crypto.com or any other centralized crypto exchange, but we offer it in a self-custodial way. So you hold the tokens until the very last minute that you off-ramp them. All right. Follow-up question.
yeah. I mean, it's self-custodial, but you KYC and you have the control on the Visa side. So you could say...
So how it works is that you give delegate power or delegate access to your safe to us, but with severe constraints on our side. We can only transfer the stablecoin that is used for Visa payments. We can only transfer it to a fixed address, which is a safe controlled by our partner, who is a partner of Visa. And you can only do it within a daily limit that you set yourself.
So then, do I understand the benefit versus crypto.com? So on crypto.com, they could say, oh, we decided your KYC was false, so now we block your account.
Exactly.
And you can't withdraw. And if you decide our KYC is
You can still
fake,
access your
I
token.
can still withdraw.
If Gnosis Pay dies tomorrow, you're still fully liquid. You still
Okay.
have your tokens.
Yeah, that's definitely a far better product.
Any other questions?
Are you going to share the code base?
Yeah. We're gonna share it. It's already on the bounty page, I think. And if you, we also have a Telegram group chat, so feel free to come to us and we'll add you to the Telegram group chat.
Or I can do it as well.
Or you can go to my colleague Adam. Any other questions? No? All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming and looking forward to the hackathon.